Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. I appreciate you being a viewer. I appreciate you being a subscriber. Let's just jump right in. Now, if you remember how Bernie Sanders, the senator from Vermont, was dressed and his pair of mittens at Joe Biden's inauguration, you'll understand why the internet has blown up and why that entire picture has gone viral, and a whole bunch of memes, internet memes, are now apparent all over the internet. You'll see this tweet on your screen from Garrett Hack, who is a correspondent for NBC News, and he's quoting Senator Bernie Sanders, who said, "It makes people aware that we make good mittens in Vermont." And then he added, "We make some good coats as well." Let's take a look at some of the memes. Here's a meme that shows you steal his look. Here's a meme from the Ghost movie with the with Demi Moore with Senator Bernie Sanders right behind her instead of Patrick Swayze. And here's a picture. It's this is let's just say this is an interesting picture, to say the least. Here's another picture of Senator Bernie Sanders with John Lennon. So it's the mitten piece is as important as hair piece and bed piece, as you can see. Here's another picture of Senator Bernie Sanders. Apparently, not exactly sure what he's doing. Here's a picture of him next to some people working out. There's a picture of him sitting next to Deadpool. I think Bernie Sanders could pass off as a superhero, but I don't know. I believe that's Star Trek, and that picture is a nice historical picture because I do believe that Senator Bernie Sanders is ageless. Okay, folks, now on to the real news and the serious news. You see this article on your screen from the Pew Research Center that says that Biden begins presidency with positive ratings and Trump departs with the lowest ever job rating. 68% of the public do not want Trump to remain a major political figure in the future. Check this image out. Biden post-election conduct viewed positively, growing criticism of Trump. How would you rate a certain president since the presidential election on November 3rd? You see that Biden's conduct was overwhelmingly excellent and good, and Trump's conduct was overwhelmingly poor or only fair. This one's interesting. A majority of the public does not want Trump to remain a major political figure. Would you like to see Trump continue to be a major political figure for years to come? No was the response from 68% of the people, and yes was the response from 29% of the people. And this is the one that I believe is potentially the most damaging. Most Americans say Trump bears at least some responsibility for the incident at the Capitol. So you can see the response here. 52% said that Trump bears a lot of responsibility, and those who were leaning Democrats, among them it was 81%. But amongst Republicans, you'll see that anywhere from 18 to 34% said that Trump bears a lot or some of the responsibilities. And below, you see the number of people who said it would be better for the country if Trump were to be removed, with Pence finishing out the last few days of the term. Now, obviously, that ship has sailed, but 54% felt he should be removed, and 45% had felt that he should remain in office until his term completed, which is what happened. And this is the really interesting one. Nearly 6 in 10 Americans approve of how Biden has explained his policies and plans. And you can see 58% of individuals approve of how Biden has explained his policies and plans to the American people, and 46% who say that when it comes to the way the federal government works in Washington, Joe Biden will make things better. Now, I'll provide you with a link to this Pew Research article, the research study, in the description section below, so definitely make sure you check it out. On your screen, you'll see a tweet from Burgess Everett, who's a co-congressional bureau chief at Politico, and Burgess reports that the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has told the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer that the Trump lawyers should be given 2 weeks to get his impeachment trial defense together. There's a lot of drama going on in the Senate, everyone. Here's a retweet on your screen from Seth Abramson, who's retweeting something from Politico. 7 Senate Democrats have actually filed an ethics complaint against Republican Senators Josh Hawley from Missouri and Ted Cruz from Florida over their attempts on the 6th of January to object to the 2020 Electoral College certification results. And here's another interesting tweet on your screen from Jeff Steinover at the Washington Post. We're talking stimulus now. And Matt Egan, who's the CNN lead business writer, was quoting Kevin Hassett, who's the former top Trump economic advisor, who supports President Biden's $1.9 trillion plan and says that the recovery is at risk. He said you could end up in a negative spiral for the economy. In other words, he is now a proponent of, a supporter of the $1.9 trillion $1,000 stimulus plan that has been proposed by President Biden. And speaking of President Biden, here's a tweet on your screen from Matt Weiser, who's a national political reporter at the Washington Post. And he's quoting President Biden, who was asked whether 100 million doses for the vaccine within 100 days was too low of a goal. To which Biden responded, "When I announced it, you all said it wasn't possible. Give me a break. Come on, man." And then the press was escorted out. And speaking of things that make you smile, Dr. Fauci was in a press briefing today. I actually watched that press briefing live. And one of the things that really jumped out to me was Fauci said, one of the things about this administration is if you don't know the answer, don't guess. Just say you don't know the answer. And you'll see a tweet here from Jim Acosta of CNN who quotes Dr. Fauci once again. Fauci, when was asked about the difference between working for the previous administration and this administration, he said it is somewhat of a liberating feeling. So now let's shift gears towards a new Senate bipartisan group, because a new Senate bipartisan group is developing, and the lead economic advisor to President Biden, and his name is Brian Deese. Brian Deese is going to be speaking with this bipartisan group of senators probably within the next 48 hours to try and get more stimulus going. So let me tell you who these senators are, because we need to get familiar with them. Their names will keep coming up. The Republican senators are Todd Young from Indiana, who, by the way, is up for re-election in 2022. Jerry Moran from Kansas, who is also up for re-election in 2022. Shelley Moore Capito from West Virginia. Susan Collins from Maine. Senator Collins was just re-elected. Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, who is up for re-election in 2022. Mitt Romney from Utah. He comfortably won re-election. Rob Portman from Ohio, who is up for re-election in 2022. And Bill Cassidy from Louisiana. So these are the Republican senators in this bipartisan Senate group. And I'll share something super interesting about this bipartisan Senate group. Now, the Democrats in this bipartisan Senate group include Senator Joe Manchin, I call him the conservative Democrat from West Virginia, Mark Warner from Virginia, Dick Durbin from Illinois, Jeanne Shaheen from New Hampshire, Angus King from Maine, Maggie Hassan from New Hampshire, and keep in mind Maggie Hassan is up for re-election in 2022, John Hickenlooper from Colorado, and finally Mark Kelly from Arizona. Mark Kelly is also up for re-election in 2022. Now keep in mind, Angus King is registered as an independent, but he generally tends to side with the Democrats. Now, what is really, really interesting, and you see this article on your screen from Bloomberg, is that the top Biden aide, specifically Brian Deese, is going to appeal on stimulus to this bipartisan group, and those talks are expected to happen very soon. Now, speaking of talks, this is super interesting. You see this tweet on your screen from Burgess Everett, the co-congressional chief at Politico, and he said the first rule of the group is that there is no group. So Dick Durbin was asked about this bipartisan group, and by the way, I mentioned his name because he's on the Democrats who's been named to this bipartisan group, and he didn't know about it. Let's show you this image, which shows you essentially a transcript of a conversation with Dick Durbin today. And so Dick Durbin says, "Oh, it is a real group. I'm in it, but I didn't get the notice of this meeting." And he said, yeah, okay, I guess this is a group and I'm in it. So it would be nice if the senators knew which groups they were a part of, because those groups are supposed to be coordinating with the senior economic advisor to the president to work on stimulus for the American people. Don't you think? Let's take a look at this image on your screen that shows you the entire employment scenario is badly damaged. This image is based on data from the Department of Labor, and it's in the Bloomberg article. I'll provide you with a link to the Bloomberg article in the description section below. You'll see the right side of this chart, which it essentially shows us that the recovery of the jobs is now effectively halted. Now, it's very clear different people have different opinions. Senator Jeff Merkley of Oregon, who's a progressive Democrat, warned that the Biden administration needs to stop trying to pacify everybody at the center of the party. Here's a quote from Jeff Merkley from Oregon. He said, "It is so important that this administration not simply adopt, we're going to talk to the middle of the spectrum, because I can tell you that the energy that drives the Democratic Party is coming from the progressive side, and progressives need to be at the table." Man, it's going to be a tough job, I can tell you, for President Biden, because he's going to get pulled in many different directions. When he's trying to be in the center, progressives will like, "Oh, you're not listening to us," and then the conservatives will be like, "Oh, you're being too progressive." So this is just the way politics works. Already, Republicans have started objecting to it. Here's a comment from Roy Blunt, who's a member of the Senate Republican team. He said, "I suspect the whole package is a non-starter because it has plenty of starters within it." Now, the good news is there will be more meetings between the administration officials and lawmakers, senators, both on the Republican side as well as the Democratic side. The White House press secretary, Jen Psaki, said that Biden's clear preference is to move forward with a bipartisan bill, but he's willing to use any tools to get the package through. Here's a quote on your screen from the White House Press Secretary Jennifer Psaki. She said, "We hope and frankly we expect Republicans in Congress and Democrats too will support assistance that will bring relief to the people they represent." This is a conversation. He's already had a number of conversations with Democrats and Republicans. Those will continue. This sounds encouraging. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. There's definitely a bipartisan group. There's some interesting news that's emerging. And of course, you got the really important news about Bernie Sanders' mittens. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. If you don't know anything about me, check out some information about me. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. I am a proud patriot. I'm a proud citizen of this beautiful country. For me, it's not about the red or the blue. It's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm American. I encourage you to subscribe to our channel. Please click subscribe. Please enable notifications. And please ignite that like button, because the name of our channel is Ignition Time. We release videos every day, and we release important content about the country, about the economy, and about your money. You can also follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. And you can also follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is also ignition_time. In fact, here's my Twitter feed. I encourage you to follow me on Twitter because you'll learn in real time what I'm reading. I retweet, and you'll be able to essentially read and follow news stories side by side with me. So I encourage you to follow me on Twitter. Now, I encourage you to also comment below, because one of the incredible things about our community is that our community is growing, it's bipartisan, it's respectful. So please comment below. You might make some new friends. Also, please share this video with just 2 friends or family members, just 2 friends or family members. I'd really appreciate that. We always include a link in the description section below to all our resources, multiple links at times, so you can always follow those news stories on your own. Once again, please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time.